And a court in Mombasa has released Ikrima Mohammed Shoshi, who was facing terror-related charges. Well, this after police failed to produce evidence to sustain the case against him. Well, we are now joined live by our reporter Francis Santomwa for the details. Francis, thank you very much for joining us. How come the police did not have enough evidence to prosecute Shoshi?
Well, Betty, the prosecution side actually asked for more time to cement their case, to augment their evidence so that they come back to the court. But it turned out that they had not really cemented much enough, and Martin Muya, the High Court here in Mombasa, ruled that indeed there was no case before him because there was no proper evidence brought before the court. Ikrima Shoshi for now is a free man, and he was of course arrested some 15 days ago. He has been in custody all along, in remand at the Shimolatewa prison as police try to investigate for this particular case. He was arrested at a popular nightclub here in Mombasa, and of course linked with charges that he was an Al-Shabaab member. Of course accusations that now it appears the police had no ground actually to really pull through this case. It is something that observers here will be asking questions why perhaps the prosecution can fail terribly really to augment some of these charges that they bring to court. And largely it has been an action-packed for terror-related charges here in the Coast region, because we've witnessed a string of them taken to court. Of course, the high profile of them all has been that the Samuel Wanjala case that he was slapped 20 years in jail, which was of course which received a lot of attention countrywide. Another important update that we really need to bring to speed to our viewers is the fact that there was an attempted prison break last evening at the Jela Baridi in Kingorani. 60 inmates tried to break away from a building there, but then they were thwarted, of course, by the prison warders at that particular prison. The commander in charge of prisons here in the Coast region, James Kodieni, was telling us that they actually began investigation into this particular case, where two hacksaws were actually recovered, and investigators of course will be tasked to unravel and ask the hard question on how these particular hacksaws found themselves in prison, something that we will be of course training our eyes onto so that we're able to bring you to the very latest as they happen from this side, Betty.
Let's go back to the issue on Shoshi's release, and you have covered this prosecutions, this court processes for such a long time, Francis. What is the impact of his release, especially on the war against terror?
Well, of course, it's a determination that will be looked in either side. There will be those who will be, of course, hailing this particular move, because, of course, we saw how the family members reacted to this particular case. There was jubilation from family members because they were saying that, indeed, their son was innocent. But to crusaders or anti-radicalization, anti-violent extremism crusaders here in the Coast region, it's quite a blow, because actually, given the kind of charges that were brought to court, they would have wanted to see this particular case developed to its full end, and it's something that will have actually been viewed in different ways here in the Coast region. Therefore, it is something that will attract different reactions, of course, Betty, and many will be looking at it as perhaps the investigators, of course, will be carrying the honest task to explain why they will bring a case in court, and actually it fails to be watertight, to able to bear fruits and actually be able to develop further and prove this case or otherwise, Betty.
Francis, maybe finally, before I let you go, do we know if police will be keeping an eye on him? Of course, due to the fact that he is a terror suspect, do we know if there are those arrangements that he's still going to be under watch by police?
Well, my guess is as good as yours, Betty, but of course, going by some of the events that we've seen is, of course, police may want to really trail this particular guy here in the Coast region to try and find out. They will want to prove right the argument that indeed this particular Krima Shoshi was actually a terror suspect. We saw CID officers bringing him to court on January the 7th, and they appear to really have to really be pushing this particular case, and therefore it is an honest task unto them to try and see whether they will have anything to bring to court. But as it stands out right now, Krima Shoshi is a free man. And something that we may also want to mention at this stage is the fact that Krima Shoshi is younger brother to Ismail Shoshi, who is another top terror suspect who is still at large, and actually police are trailing of his whereabouts. Krima Shoshi, rather Ismail Shoshi, the older Shoshi, is accused of killing an intelligence officer at Mombasa's Bondeni area, and these particular strings that are attached to this particular family, I believe it is something police will still be trailing, will still be making a lot of attempts to really find out whether indeed some of these charges that they actually failed to prove in court have actually hold any water, if at all, Betty.
Right, thank you very much, Francis Ntomo. They're reporting live from Mombasa on the happenings in the courts there, where Krima Mohammed Shoshi, who was a terror suspect, has been released.